is it really, Amy? I didn't know that. Amy's just told me it's National Teachers' Day, so wished me a happy National Teachers' Day. I didn't have a clue. So thank you. Not only have you taught me something today, but you've made my day as well with that lovely message. Thank you. Good morning, Zidane. Lovely to see you. I think you're a new name, which is wonderful. Well done for getting on. So it'd be me doing this lesson, Zidane. It'd be Miss Passal doing your next one, okay? Good morning, Chloe B as well. Lovely. Right. We're at the 10 o'clock point, so I believe we should get started, and I'll continue saying good morning to you as the lesson goes on. Okay? Right. So, oh my gosh, I said lesson 4, didn't I? Silly me. We're on lesson 5. I didn't even know. Maybe I need to go back to bed and try again in an hour or so. But yes, lesson 5. Guys, I have to say, I have just, you may notice my background's a little bit different. And I'm working from home, and my partner's left the door open, and a cat is literally right here. Hello. Right, I shall ignore the cat, as cute as it is, as obviously one of the neighbours, and carry on with our lesson 5. So for those of you that are new, you've got the good morning, Livy. You've got the listening symbol, and you've got the writing symbol. And obviously you've got the comment here on the virtual school page so that you can continue to message me. For those of you that don't know, because again, I am seeing new names today, so hopefully we're in for another record breaker. You literally just go back to the page that you're on, and here is the comment here section. And if you click it, it will bring up a page. You can pop in your name, pop in your answer, and then you have to scroll down and click submit, and then I will get all your fabulous comments. Good morning, Summer. Okay, so let's go back to our lesson. Right. So as always, 2 parts. We've got our grammar part today and then our reading section. So we always work in 2 parts, usually about half an hour each. Then we're going to quickly revise expanded noun phrases because we did those in our last lesson. So I want to see if you guys have retained that information. Then we're going to go on to modal verbs. Thank you, Cole. And good morning, Kaiden. Good morning, Callum W. Going to go on to exploring modal verbs, which initially I thought, oh, modal verbs, such a nice, easy lesson, just to quickly get you some new information or just consolidate information you may already know. But as I delve deeper into actually, let's expand our knowledge of verbs in general, there may be quite a bit of information coming towards you today. So just make sure you're focusing. And then we've got to develop our reading skills because we want to be phenomenal readers and writers. So, revision, expand noun phrases. We looked at these last time and we knew that a simple noun phrase would have a determiner and a noun, possibly a verb within the sentence. But if we want to expand that noun to make it more interesting, give it more detail to the reader, then we expand it, including adjectives or a prepositional phrase, or both. So I'd like you to have a look at the determiners. You've got quite a few here in this section. I've given you some ideas of adjectives, given you some ideas of nouns, and given you some ideas of prepositional phrases. Can you now have a go at writing me 2 expanded noun phrases, starting with the determiner, moving on to adjectives, noun, and a prepositional phrase? Now, you can absolutely use the ones on the slide that you see here, or you're absolutely welcome to choose some of your own. Okay, up to you. Give you just about maybe 2 minutes to come up with your own expanded noun phrases. Got about just another minute. Lovely from you, Kaiden. The colourful, gigantic statue stood in the middle of the pond. So you've used two adjectives there. You've got the determiner there, two adjectives with colourful and gigantic, statue being your noun. Stood almost adds a degree of personification there, which is lovely. In being a prepositional or preposition, and in the middle of the pond being a prepositional phrase. Lovely, superstar. Lovely, ABE. Ah, really, really poignant one there. So you've got, again, you've used the determiner the, beautiful being your adjective, butterfly being your noun, was on the leaf. On being your preposition and on the leaf being a prepositional phrase. But you've also got my determiner, NHS flag, noun, is very colourful outside my window. So you've got colourful and outside my window being a prepositional phrase. Superstar. I'm sure the NHS really appreciate that, Amy. Good morning, Danielle. The colourful car drove in the night. Lovely. The beautiful girl walked along the pebble-filled road. Beautiful, Carl. An ancient door stood between the gigantic houses. How mysterious, Summer. Lovely. Good job. Right, we're going to move on. Well done, everybody. So, we're going to, like I said, look at modal verbs. Now, to fully understand modal verbs, we need to understand verbs in general. So we're going to listen to our good old friend MC Grammar. So let me do my microphone thing so you can hear the song loud and clear. Make sure this is up as well.
Or action, doing words, verbs, or action, doing words, verbs, or action, doing words, verbs, or action, words. Have you heard of a word called a verb in a sentence is needed to work? Yeah. Let's focus on work for a second because verbs are being doing words. Yeah. Lights, camera, action in a sentence, find the action word. Yeah. If you can, then you can discover the three different forms of verb. Modal: can, can't, could, may, might, would, mustn't. Auxiliaries: am, was, were, has, had, does, did. Main: sing, spin, think, drink, dance, shake, and freeze. Wait, now you know about verbs, let's do it again. Have you heard of a word called a verb in a sentence is needed to work? Yeah. Let's focus on work for a second because verbs are begin doing words. Yeah. Lights, camera, action in a sentence, find the action word. Yeah. If you can, then you can discover the three different forms of verbs. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you actually saw that. Am I presenting? No, I've just sat there for ages, haven't I? I'm so sorry. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Let's start that again. Let's actually present. I don't know what quite happened there because I was presenting and then it went. So let's try that again because that's a great song. So I'll play that again for you. My apologies. Let me just see. Yes, thank you, Amy. I don't think you could see it. I don't know why that happened. Very bizarre. Right, let's go again. Take two, guys. Right, hold up. I don't know what's going on today. How funny. Right, don't worry about it. It's okay if you couldn't hear it. What I will do is I'll play it at the end of the lesson just so you can fully enjoy it. How hilarious. Can't seem to work with this technology today. Right, either way, there are three different forms of verbs that you would have heard from the MC Grammar song. So you've got modal verbs, which is what we're really going to home in on today. Auxiliary verbs, which I think are often the forgotten type of verb. And then you've got what's it called? The main verb, which I think you guys are most familiar with, being your verbs such as your doing actions like jump, sing, laugh, think, sleep, etc. Okay. Good morning, Solomon. Good morning, Lexi. Lovely. Good morning, Isla. Good morning, Safi. Good morning, Alex. Good morning, John Paul. Lovely, loads of people. Okay. So here, can you sort the below verbs to see what you know into modal, auxiliary, and main verbs? I'm going to give you a bit of support here to see if it makes sense to you. So auxiliary verbs are your kind of tense verbs. They connect words, or connect words in a sentence, or just make the sentence make grammatical sense. So, for example, I am going to the shop would be auxiliary. I was going to the shop would be auxiliary. Things like that. Main verbs, as you know, are your doing words. So, like I was saying, laugh, sleep, run, they're all main verbs. And modal verbs are indicating possibility. So how likely is it? So I will go to the shop, will would be the modal verb. I should go to the shop, should would be a modal verb. So based on those little hints there, can you sort the verbs below, these ones here, into modal, auxiliary, and main verbs? Quite a large task there, so we'll give you about 3 minutes. And I'll go back to the video because then I'm really sad you missed that. What a treat. Hearing MC Grammar 3 times in a lesson because Miss Francois can't get it right. The hilarity. I'm waiting to see who's fastest finger at getting these all right. Also, I digress, but I loved your sentence earlier, Summer. A crumpled old building stood near the town. That's lovely. Good morning, Haria. So, Haria, if you've just tuned in, my lovely, we're trying to sort the verbs into the three categories of modal, auxiliary, and main. You may struggle initially, but I'm sure it'll make sense as we go on. Just give it a good go. So we've got about 2 minutes left on that now. Oh, nice. Got some good answers coming through. Amy, almost nearly perfect. Good girl, well done. Good morning, Rihanna. If you look at the task box, it tells you what we're doing, lovely. Sorting the verbs into the three categories. We always put a little task box here, so if you join late, you know what we're asking you to do. Just here. And 1 minute left. I can see from this that I feel like a lot of you are going to have great learning today. Because I can see a few misconceptions coming through, which is exciting for me as a teacher because it's like, yes, I might actually come back to this slide at the end of the lesson to see if we've made improvements. Good morning, Chloe D. Lovely to hear from you. Okay, let's have a look. So the modal words are in red. So can, may, could, might, mustn't. Okay, all of these show possibility. So if you were to say, I might go to the shop versus may I go to the shop, here you're asking, is it possible? Am I allowed to go to the shop? Here, I might go to the shop suggests 50-50. You may go, you may not. If I said, for example, I will go to the shop, the modal verb will suggests that it's definitely going to happen. So again, it's just how likely or how possible it is that something's going to occur. The auxiliaries are is, was. So they kind of insert a bit of tense or grammatical structure in a sentence. So they're kind of like those little filler words that you need for the sentence to make sense, or they put it in a certain tense. So was is obviously putting it in past tense. And then your main verbs, which a lot of you were smashing, are sing, dance, and think, because they're all doing. So I can, singing is something that you can do, dancing is something you can do, thinking is something you can do. You can't do could, you can't do was. So there's a clear differentiation there between those type of verbs. Well done, Summer, as well. Summer, you absolutely smashed it. Superstar. Well done. Okay, so modal verbs are actually a form of auxiliary verbs. So even though in that previous slide they were completely separate, modal verbs do fall into the umbrella of being a type of auxiliary verb. Okay. They can't usually work alone. They need a main verb, so the words in purple, to be alongside them. Okay. So here are the list of modal verbs. Just familiarize yourself with them. So might, will, should, may, would, can, could, must, shall, and ought to. Okay, so literally we're looking at 10 there, 10 different modal verbs to try and familiarize ourselves with. Okay, so have another good look. You might want to jot them down on your note of paper so that you've got the whole array to work with as the lesson goes on. Okay. If you've jotted them down, see if you can put one of them into a sentence for me. Absolutely. If you want to draw a chart, Rihanna, that's absolutely fine. If you want to have a grid like this. But just remember, I am going to be moving on shortly, so this slide won't be up for long. So you might just want to quickly just note them down. Okay. Lovely, Amy. We might be back at school soon, said Amy, using that modal verb of might. So we might, but we might not. We mightn't. We'll have to wait and see what Mr. Johnson says. He may confirm it for us on Sunday. He should confirm it on Sunday. I think he will confirm it on Sunday. Top banter over here from Miss F. Love and life. Right, moving on. Hopefully you got those jotted down. Oh, Summer, I highly suggest you do. It's gorgeous outside. Some said I might go for a walk later. Karis is like, forget my, I will play outside today. Good for you, Karis. Lovely. We must follow the route, otherwise we will end up in the wrong place. Lexi, do you know how many times I've ended up in the wrong place? I've been doing little deliveries to 5CF of chocolate. And the amount of time I have either knocked the wrong door or ended up on the wrong road is shocking. I have met most of your neighbours 5CF before I eventually got to you. It's shocking. So let's have a look. So why do we even use modal verbs? Always good to know the purpose of why we're even learning about it. Now, modal verbs feature in our language so heavily that you are often using them without even knowing. But they are used for these, oh, sorry, skip slides. They are used primarily for these four functions: to give advice or an obligation to someone. So you are often obligated to wear a uniform. It is compulsory that you wear a school uniform when you attend school. So the best modal verb to fit that is pupils must wear a uniform. So there isn't very much scope there for deviation, is there? If you don't do it, it's clear that you're breaking that rule. Obviously, I hope you all agree with this one. You should not smoke. So that's a piece of advice there for health and safety, isn't it? That it would be against health and safety guidelines if you were to smoke, because you want to be in top form. So it's saying you should not. It's not saying you must not, because people have the right to choose. So it's given the advice that they say that you shouldn't. Habits. I will often have cereal for my breakfast. We shall always enjoy a walk in the park. So they're showing that that how frequent or how much someone enjoys partaking in certain activities or rituals, routines. It can give permission. Now, this is a big stickler of mine. I don't know if you've heard me bleat on about it yet, but you'll definitely hear about it. Each class I meet, I introduce this pretty much straight off the bat. Saying, may I leave a few minutes early is correct. Saying, can I leave a few minutes early is actually wrong. Now, the biggest time I hear it said wrong when you're asking for permission is, Miss, yes, can I go to the toilet? Now, what you're actually asking is if you have the ability to go to the toilet. I can't answer that question. I don't know. Are you able to go to the toilet? Or do you have slight problems that prohibit you from going to the toilet or make it a struggle for you to go to the toilet? I can't answer that. Only you can. But if you're asking for permission, it needs to be, Miss, yes, may I go to the toilet? And that's asking for permission. So actually, if you start saying to someone, can I? You're actually asking them if you have the ability to do it. And actually, only you can answer that question. Could we go to the post box on the way? Please, can we have an ice cream? In that instance, it was right because it had the please first. But I would still say, please, may I have an ice cream? I think it's still more correct. Here's the ability one. I can drive a tractor. My grandfather could draw very well. The idea of my grandfather could draw puts it almost in the past tense there, doesn't it? It's to suggest that maybe he's not drawing now. It could be arthritis, could be something that's prevented him from drawing, but it seems like he's lost that ability. But whereas this person still has their ability because they can do it currently. So you see how modal verbs link a bit to tense as well. But you'll notice that the modal verb is often in front of the main verb. So must, where being a verb there, will often, can drive, could draw. So often the modal verb comes before the main verb. So I would like you now, you've got your list there, hopefully. You've just heard me bleat on about modal verbs for a little while. So I would like you to read these 4 sentences and try to identify the modal verbs in each of the sentences below. So I'd like you to look through and tell me where they are. So only comment 4 words to me. So you don't need to write the whole sentence or anything like that. Just tell me what 4 modal verbs you can see in those sentences. Let's see who's fastest finger. Great, John Paul. What you've done in one of your previous sentences from before is you've used a modal verb as inversion to ask a question, and we're going to be looking at that soon. So you're already ahead of the game, my lovely. You've done the same, Rihanna. Lovely. Maybe take £1 for the small disco. Absolutely. You need those sweets and juices. Absolutely. Oh, who was that? Oh my goodness. Right, let's see. Lexi was in first, followed by well done, Lexi, followed by Isla, followed by Summer. If you're having problems, Rihanna, I would come out and come back in, lovely. Followed by Jay, followed by Amy E. Well done, guys. And not a single one of you wrong. Superstars. That's awesome. Well done. Right, you'll start going through the answers. Well done as well, Karis. Superstar. Right, so in that first one, it was indeed must. Like I said, not a single person wrong. Good morning, Abu. Lovely to see you. So you must be hot in that thick coat, which I imagine on a day like today, that's absolutely accurate. If it is dry, shall we play outside? He's so fast, he should win the race. So that kind of indicates that he should. There's always an opportunity or a possibility that he may not win the race. And I'm fed up with my long hair. I might have it cut. So again, that's a bit of a 50-50 there. She might get used to it. She might leave it. We'll see. So let's have a look. So we can change modal verbs into a negative form. So they can be replaced from the positive to a negative just by adding the word not. And then that not can be contracted by putting in essentially the apostrophes for the contracted form. So we've got here the positive version of the modal verb should. I add in the not to make it should not. I contract it into shouldn't. Okay, so here you've got, again, 4 boxes that are missing a word. It might be the positive word. It might be the full expanded word, the original plus the word not. Or it might be the contracted form, adding in that apostrophe there instead of the O. Okay, so can you find what 4 words are missing in my table? Well done, Kaiden, as well, for the correct answer in the previous task. So we had, I think it was Lexi coming in first. Let's see this time. No pressure. Will it be a 5 BP member or a 5 CF member? Who knows? Okay, 4 words. Who's that? It was a 5 CF member. And it goes, Jay. Well done. I don't know if you've come first before, but you did today. Today, on the 5th of May. I mean, it rhymes. Today was your day. Amy coming in second. Well done. Lexi, not far behind. Well done, Danielle. Super kind. Right, we're all smashing it. Well done. Let's have a look. So, missing words were can, cannot, can't, could not, couldn't, might, might not, mightn't. Not usually one we use, is it? And then must, must not, mustn't. Okay, so right. I want to use mightn't and mustn't because they're not ones that you typically use. I just want you to experiment with those ones a little bit more. For example, you mustn't cross the road without looking 2 ways first. What else mustn't you do? You mustn't tell lies to adults. Have a go. Try use mustn't in a sentence because it's not one we typically use. But if you can, impress me and use mightn't. I mean, from early today, having that cat roam around, I shouldn't. I should learn that I mustn't leave my door open, or that I mustn't know technology very well because I couldn't get the video to play earlier. What's going on? Amy, superstar. You mustn't be unkind. Love that. Hyden, lovely. You mustn't go to the shop on your own. And he put an exclamation mark. He's very definitive with that instruction. Well done. You mustn't play my games before my. I mustn't play my games before my schoolwork. Some of your work ethic is just unreal. Sorry, I feel like the sun went away and it might have got really dark in here. A cloud is passing by. So if it just went dim all of a sudden, I apologise. Alexei! Woohoo! Hello! Lovely to see you. That's brilliant. Carl, I mustn't go outside because of coronavirus. Absolutely, well done. Although you can go out for exercise, and if you do go out, as long as you maintain social distancing, you should be fine. I mustn't be late for school. John Paul, absolutely. Amy E, controversial with the top banter there. You mustn't support Villa. Oh, don't even comment saying anything to Amy E. She is entitled to her opinion. Right, wonderful. Absolutely smashing it. Okay, I feel like you guys have got it. Right, the last task then, and then we're going to move on to our reading. Questions by inversion. So reposition the modal verbs in the sentences below to change each sentence into a question. So each sentence currently right now is not in a question format. She can go out. How could I change that? Just by moving the modal verb so that that becomes a question. We could drive there, okay? How do I change that to a question? Children should eat fruit. How do I change that to a question? So again, we're going to do a bit of inversion there, which is very similar to math and doing the inverse. which is changing it into its opposite, isn't it? So we need to change these into questions. Let's see. Lovely, Abu. We mustn't skip lessons. Yes, please don't. Me and Miss Faisal love having your comments here. I guarantee you, if you weren't commenting, it would just feel like I'm talking to a computer screen by myself, looking very strange. Good morning, Debbie Lee. Good morning, Harley. Alex, I'm not commenting what you had to say in regards to the football. This isn't a football war today, people. It's modal verbs. Right. Oh, good effort, Harley. But all the words stay exactly the same. You just have to move them around. So don't change anything. Well done, Carl. Instead of she can go out, Carl has put can she go out? Still 4 words, question mark inserted at the end. Well done. So that should give you a clue to anyone that's struggling. Perfect, Lexi, you've got it nailed. Well done. Danielle absolutely nailed it. Jay, brilliant. Superstar, Amy. Brilliant, Summer. Well done, Karis. Fabulous. I can see you guys are getting a bit quicker with typing now because some of you have written those 3 sentences already. And it used to take you about 10 hours to do me 1 word. So well done. Little keyboard warriors now. Well done, Harley. Good. Right, you've all got it. So we change it to the inversion. She can go out changes to can she go out? We could drive there changes to could we drive there? And children should eat fruit changes to should children eat fruit? Well done. All with a question mark at the end, as many of you popped in there. Well done, Isla and Debbie Lee. Right, I'm going to skip that one because we're going to go into our inference. Right, actually, I want to do a bit of assessment for learning. This reader lesson may be a bit shorter, but I do want to check we have got this now. So I'm going to play the MC grammar verbs again, 3rd time. Oh, I'll put 4. Put that one down. 3rd time lucky, guys. I'm going to try it again. Listen carefully because afterwards I'm going to go back to this slide. I'm going to ask you to sort these and see if we can do it better this time, okay? Right, let's have a quick look. Oh, let's put that back up. We don't want that. There we go. Do you know what? This is all because I'm working from home. It's all very new to me. I'm doing all sorts of mistakes. So thank you for bearing with me. Right, here we go. We're going to be grammarified.
Or action, doing words, verbs. 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 Or action, words. Have you heard of a word called a verb in a sentence? It's needed to work. Yeah. Let's focus on work for a second because verbs are begin doing words. Yeah. Lights, camera, action in a sentence. Find the action word. Yeah. If you can, you can discover the 3 different forms of verb. Modal. Can, can't, could, may, might, would, mustn't. Auxiliaries. Am, was, were, has, had, does, did, may. Sing, spin, think, drink, dance, shake, and freeze. Wait, now you know about verbs, let's do it again. Have you heard of a word called a verb in a sentence? It's needed to work. Yeah. Let's focus on work for a second because verbs are begin doing words. Yeah. Lights, camera, action in a sentence. Find the action word. Yeah. If you can discover the 3 different forms of verbs. Yeah.
I think that worked. Yay. Right, it's a good tune, isn't it, that one? Have you heard of it as a word? Love it. I really feel like, please, anyone that wants to maybe join a grammar club with me next year, and we could just do dances and like remixes to these songs, I'm totally on it. I'm loving them. Right. Hopefully, fingers crossed, You now know the 3 different forms of verbs, and you can sort them much better than maybe you just did before, okay? Are you ready? This is your moment to shine, guys. Let's try this again, okay? So can you sort these into their 3 categories now, please? Modal, auxiliary, main. Just going to give you 1 minute. Fastest finger. Let's go. Hey, yes, Isla. Isla knows all the main. Not slipped up once there. Good job. Also, just going back to previous, Chloe, well done for your inversion, making the questions. John Paul saying well done for yours. Oh, Jay. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Trophy down to Jay. He's done them all phenomenally. Well done. King of Modal Verbs. I pass on the crown. The Queen gives it to us, the King. Well done. Superstar, Kaiden. Amazing. ABE, as always. Fantastic. Does E stand for excellent, maybe, in ABE? I think so. Well done, lovely. Well done, Caris. Well done. Right, I had nothing but misconceptions before. I have now not seen a single person get it wrong, which means thank you for listening carefully. You've smashed it. Well, well, well done. Summer, superb. Not a single error. Isla, well done. Right, got it. Yay! Who says live lessons don't work? Clearly they do. Well done, everybody. That is brilliant. I mean, no one said live lessons don't work, but you know, when you just want to like be dramatic. English teacher, maybe drama teacher next. Who knows? Right. I'm going to skip through them and I'm going to go to what I wanted to show you. Now, our reading lesson, I'm so sad that I've taken so long on modal verbs because we won't get through this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just expose you to the story. Really hope that you understand it, and then we're going to pick it back up on Thursday. But don't worry, I'll recap on Thursday anyway, so you don't have to like retain all the knowledge. I just want to share with you how amazing I find this story. Now, I say it's a story, it's a narrative poem. So it's a narrative poem would be a story written in poetic format, so it's got that rhyming structure. And it's all about the world we lived in pre-coronavirus to the world we may find if we're lucky enough post coronavirus. And I found it so moving. So actually, I'm going to share it by video first, and then I'll read through it. And then I want your comments. Tell me what you think about this video. I think it's awesome. So make sure there's no distractions around you. If you've got headphones, plug them in and completely tune into this because it is wonderful. You know how I loved Pick the Dog? Wow, I mean, this is up there with Pick the Dog. Tell me what you think, though. Now, fingers crossed I can actually play it. Because we know Miss Francis hasn't been great with videos today. So let's do our microphone thing. And any more, you'll hear the story now.
Tell me the one about the virus again, then I'll go to bed. Tell me the one about the virus again, then I'll go to bed.
But my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head.
Please, that one's my favourite. I promise just once more.
Okay, snuggle down, my boy, though I know you know full well. The story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 20.
Okay, that time it genuinely wasn't my fault. That time it genuinely is the computer. Because if you can see here, it says I am presenting. So I'm going to have to stop it and then start it again. Bizarre. I am so sorry. We'll start it again. That really wasn't my fault this time. That is genuinely the computer. I will say that to my dying breath. Right, hide. Let's try again. Such a good little movie.
What about the virus again? Then I'll go to bed.
But my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head.
Please, that one's my favourite. I promise just once more.
Okay, snuggle down, my boy, though I know you know full well. The story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and got much bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day, and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted, and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes grew squarer, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out the imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the skies grew thicker, till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below, we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles. We'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic, because our waste was never capped, until each day when you went fishing, you'd pull them out, already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why. It's best to not upset the lobbies. More convenient to die. But then in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we all were hidden, amidst the fear and all the while, the people dusted off their instincts. They remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you and calling up their mums. And while the car keys gathered dust, they would look forward to their runs. And with the skies less full of voyagers, the earth began to breathe, and the beaches bore new wildlife that scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but some good news was in the making. And so when we found the cure and were allowed to go outside, we all preferred the world we found to the one we'd left behind. Old habits became extinct, and they made way for the new. And every simple act of kindness was now given its due.
But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together?
Well, sometimes you've got to get sick, my boy, before you start feeling better. Now lie down and dream of tomorrow and all the things that we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of how it started and why hindsight's 2020.
I absolutely love that. So I'm just going to read it through. I know the text is really small, and some of you are visual, and you would have been able just to, and that you need to see the words. And some of you would have been more auditory. You'd be able just to hear what's being said and be able to pick up with the pictures, and it would have been a complete story for you. But for anyone that maybe struggled, I'll just read it through because I'm just in love with this one. Okay. So, tell me the one about the virus again, and then I will go to bed. But my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head. Please, that one's my favourite. I promise just once more. Okay, snuggle down, my boy. Though I know you know full well the story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and got much bigger than we ever could have planned. We always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted. The work-life balance broke, and children's eyes grew squarer. Every toddler had a phone. They filtered out their imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the skies grew thicker, till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles, we'd forgotten how to run. We swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic because our waste was never capped. Until each day you went fishing, you'd pull them out already wrapped. And while we drank and smoked and gambled, our leaders taught us why it's best not to upset the lobbies, more convenient to die. But then in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we were all hidden and missed the fear, and all the while, the people dusted off their instincts and they remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you and calling up their mums. The car keys gathered dust and they would look forward to their runs. With the skies less filled with voyagers and the earth began to breathe, the beaches bore new wildlife and they scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but some good news was in the making. And so when we found a cure and we were allowed to go outside, we all preferred the world we found to the one we left behind. Old habits became extinct and made way for the new, and every simple act of kindness was given its due. But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together? Well, sometimes you have to get sick, my boy, before you start feeling better. Now lie down and dream of tomorrow and all the things that you can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it not the coronavirus, but the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. And that's how the story started and why it's hindsight's 2020. It is remarkable. Ah, some lovely comments from you. Really, really lovely. So, what we're going to do is we're going to pick this narrative poem back up. Lovely to see from you, Declan. We're going to pick this poem back up on our next lesson, and we're going to explore some questions. So what I'll do is I'll put the little video onto these slides. I'll reread it, but you'll still see the pictures. And then I'm going to ask you some reading questions, some comprehension questions about some of the meaning of this. So like little things I'm going to give you hints about. You might want to research this beforehand. I'm glad you loved it, Lexi. What is hindsight? Because that's really important to understanding this. So you might want to research that before you come into Thursday's lesson. What was it that was making the children's eyes grow squarer? Why in the world that we knew before were people starting to talk less? What was coming into our lives more and more that meant that we weren't socialising face to face as much? Little question like that. Amy, glad you loved it as well. I'm such a fan of that poem. I think it's if we could spread that message of changing our world for the better once we come out of this, to make sure that the acts of kindness continue going on, the appreciation continue going on, that we spend more time together and less time stuck at computers or on phones. If we can just remember to respect nature and wildlife, I think it'd be so important. So I'm really passionate about that, and I hope you guys are too, because I feel like we can make a big difference if we work hard enough. So I'm going to come out of this and go to the bottom, so I don't give away too many answers. So for in the next 20 minutes, you're going to have a lovely break, a well-deserved break at that. Then be ready for math at 11:15 with the fantastic and wonderful psychic of mine, my brilliant Miss Purcell. And then after, if you can complete your doodle tasks. I did message about a few mishaps that may be happening with doodle. So hopefully if your parents have looked at the message that I sent on Class Dojo, that should clarify maybe why a few things are going wrong. So there's nothing wrong with doodle, it should be working absolutely fine. And then you've got your curriculum tasks in the afternoon. But please make sure that at some point you get out and you enjoy the phenomenal weather. There are blue skies, nice beating down sun, and a lovely wind so that you don't get too hot. So it's perfect weather today. Look after yourselves, look after your family, and stay safe. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you so much as always for tuning in. And I shall see you on Thursday, where we can delve into that story a little bit deeper. And I can't remember what I'm teaching you about next, to be fair, but I'll try and make it awesome. Okay? Right, miss you all, guys, and see you all soon, hopefully. Look after yourselves. Bye.